Hollywood is not just about red carpets and million-dollar smiles once you look behind the spotlight. Lurking in the shadows are handcuffs, courtrooms, and scandals wild enough to outshine any blockbuster script. From seductive starlets to swashbuckling heroes, and even sports legends, countless icons have their own secret criminal records. Today, we are cracking open the criminal files of celebrities who served time, crossed lines, and shocked the world. And trust me, our number one story will leave your jaw on the floor. Number 1. Paul Kelly. The leading man who went from a love triangle to prison stripes. Paul Kelly looked like the kind of guy Hollywood adored. Handsome, smooth, and built for the spotlight. But behind that polished smile was a plot twist worthy of a hard-boiled noir film. Before he ever became known for Flying Tigers or The Roaring 20 Seconds, Kelly found himself starring in a very real drama, a deadly love triangle. The trouble began with actress Dorothy Mackell, a woman Kelly was romantically involved with, even though she was still married to vaudeville performer Ray Raymond. And if Hollywood has taught us anything, it is that love triangles rarely end with polite handshakes. In 1927, tensions exploded. Kelly and Raymond got into a violent confrontation that ended with Raymond suffering a fatal head injury. Overnight, Kelly went from a rising star to a front-page headline, and not the flattering kind. He was charged with manslaughter, convicted, and sentenced to 2 years in San Quentin, where the only bright lights came from the guards' flashlights. But here is where the story flips, from tragedy to an improbable comeback. Instead of crumbling, Kelly used prison as a gritty acting workshop, absorbing the atmosphere he would later channel into his tough-edged roles. When he walked out of San Quentin, people expected a disgraced ex-actor. What they got was a man determined to rebuild. And rebuild he did. Hollywood is surprisingly forgiving when talent is involved, and they welcomed him back. He steadily earned respect, delivered strong performances, and even achieved the twist no one saw coming. He married Dorothy Mackell, the woman at the center of the storm. They stayed together until her passing, a real only-in-Hollywood ending. Kelly's life became a cocktail of scandal, resilience, and second chances. Number 2. Rory Calhoun, the outlaw teen who became Hollywood's favorite bad boy. Before Rory Calhoun was riding horses on screen and smirking his way through westerns, he was busy starring in a very different genre, real-life crime drama. Born Francis Timothy McCown, Calhoun didn't just flirt with trouble, he practically dated it. By age 13, he had already stolen a revolver and earned himself a trip to the Preston School of Industry, a reform school for young offenders. Most kids learn algebra at that age. Rory learned how to escape, and he did, slipping out and launching a spree of petty crimes that included breaking into jewelry stores like he was auditioning for Ocean's 11, the junior edition. At 17, he made his boldest move yet, stealing a car and driving it across state lines, a federal offense. That little joyride earned him 3 years in federal prison at the U.S. Medical Center for Federal Prisoners in Springfield, Missouri. He was released just before turning 21, presumably with a cake baked by the parole board. But here is where Calhoun delivered the twist Hollywood loves. He left crime behind and vowed to go straight. For a while, he drifted through odd jobs until fate and his jawline caught the attention of someone in Hollywood. Suddenly, the former teen outlaw was reinvented as a rugged leading man. Then came 1955, and the great Hollywood plot twist. His agent, Henry Wilson, leaked Rory's entire criminal past to Confidential magazine to save another client. In theory, this should have destroyed him. In reality, fans loved it. Overnight, Calhoun became the ultimate bad boy, authentic, dangerous, and irresistible. Instead of sinking his career, the revelation supercharged it. Directors lined up to cast him as tough guys, rebels, and anti-heroes, the very roles his past practically wrote for him. Number 3. Zsa Zsa Gabor, the glamour queen who slapped the law in the face. Zsa Zsa Gabor wasn't known for her acting roles as much as for playing herself, a woman who bathed in diamonds and believed the world revolved around her manicure. But in 1989, reality and the Beverly Hills Police Department begged to differ. The incident unfolded when an officer pulled over her Rolls-Royce for expired tags. For most people, that is a ticket. For Zsa Zsa, it was an insult to Her Majesty. When the conversation heated up, She did what every soap opera villain dreams of doing. She delivered a crisp, open-handed slap across the officer's face. Hollywood froze. Would they really jail a diva? Oh, yes. The judge sentenced her to 3 days in jail, fines, and community service. But even behind bars, Zsa Zsa stayed true to form, complaining about the accommodations as if it were a 5-star hotel with terrible room service. She turned her arrest into just another show, proving that for a true diva, even a prison sentence is just another opportunity to make the front page. Number 4. Winona Ryder, America's sweetheart, who decided not to pay. In the early 2000s, Winona Ryder was the face of a generation, talented, fragile, with big doe eyes. She had it all. Oscar nominations, money, fame. So, when she was arrested in 2001 at an elite Saks Fifth Avenue, the world simply refused to believe it. Security didn't catch her stealing gum. They caught her with over $5,000 worth of merchandise, from which she had allegedly cut the security tags. Designer clothes, accessories, all of it stuffed in her bag, even though she could have bought the entire store without blinking. The trial turned into a circus. Winona appeared in court wearing Marc Jacobs. Ironic, considering those were the very items she tried to lift. And fans wore t-shirts screaming, "Free Winona." It was the scandal that shattered her good girl image and sent her career into hibernation for a decade. But like any good movie, there was a happy ending. She returned triumphant in Stranger Things, reminding everyone that while you can arrest a star, you can't arrest talent. Number 5. Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle, the comedy giant crushed by Hollywood's first mega scandal. Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle wasn't just a star. He was the king of silent-era comedy, a man so beloved that audiences laughed the moment he walked on screen. Think of him as the original big guy with big charm. But in 1921, Hollywood's funniest man got caught in a scandal so massive it made today's tabloids look like kindergarten newsletters. At a party in San Francisco's Street Francis Hotel, actress Virginia Rappe fell mysteriously ill and passed away days later. Within hours, whispers turned into headlines, and headlines turned into full-blown hysteria. Suddenly, Arbuckle wasn't the jolly comic genius. He was the prime suspect in a crime the press sensationalized to the extreme. Reporters didn't just jump to conclusions, they pole vaulted to them. Arbuckle faced 3 trials, each one a circus packed with angry crowds, moral crusaders, and journalists fighting for the juiciest angle. The first 2 trials ended in hung juries, but the third delivered the truth. Roscoe Arbuckle was fully acquitted. Not just found not guilty, the jury actually apologized to him, calling it a great injustice. That is how badly the media had roasted the poor man. But the damage was already done. Studios panicked, banned his films, and treated him like Hollywood's biggest taboo. Even though he was legally cleared, his career evaporated faster than a silent film reel in a bonfire. Arbuckle ended up directing under a fake name, William Goodrich, because his real one had been dragged through every gutter in America. Tragically, just as his life seemed ready for a comeback, he died in 1933 at only 46. His story remains one of Hollywood's earliest and harshest lessons in showbiz. A scandal can end a career long before the truth gets a chance to speak. Number 6. Danny Trejo, the villain on screen, the hero in real life. You know the face, scarred, rugged, with a stare that makes you want to cross the street. Danny Trejo has played hundreds of thugs but the truth is, he didn't need to learn how to play a criminal, he was one. Before he became Machete, Trejo was a frequent flyer in the California penal system. San Quentin, Folsom, Soledad. Those aren't movie titles to him. They are where he spent his youth. He was a prison boxing champion and involved in armed robberies. His life was a downward spiral until one day, in solitary confinement, he decided to flip the script. He went through a 12-step program, left the old life behind, and became a mentor for youth. Hollywood found him by accident. He showed up on a movie set to support a friend, and a director looked at him and realized this guy looks too convincing not to cast. Today, Danny Trejo isn't just an actor. He is living proof that you can climb out of the darkest hole if you have the will. And maybe a machete. Number 7. Lawrence Tierney, the tough guy actor whose real life was even scarier than his movies. Lawrence Tierney didn't just play gangsters. He lived like Hollywood kept handing him the script. and he kept ad-libbing the violence. Built like a brick wall with a glare that could stop traffic, Tierney became famous for his chilling portrayal of real-life criminal John Dillinger in 1945. Audiences loved seeing him as a ruthless, tough guy until they realized he wasn't acting. From the mid-1940 seconds to the early 50 seconds, Tierney treated police stations like revolving doors. Between barroom brawls, public drunkenness, and more fistfights than a boxing tournament, he was arrested at least 12 times. And that is just what made the records. Who knows what didn't? His most infamous meltdown came in 1951, when a bar scuffle in New York escalated so badly that Tierney broke a college student's jaw. The judge gave him 90 days in jail, probably hoping the timeout would teach him the difference between a movie set and real life. Spoiler: it didn't. Hollywood quickly realized he was a hazard on and off camera. Studios liked dangerous characters, not dangerous co-workers. His career nosedived as producers decided they preferred their villains fictional. Still, Tierney popped up occasionally, usually in roles that required him to be intimidating without trying. In the 50 seconds, he showed up in The Greatest Show on Earth, later resurfacing decades later in Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs as crime boss Joe Cabot. It was perfect casting, a man who looked like he'd growl even at his own reflection. Then came his legendary one-episode appearance on Seinfeld in 1991. He was hilarious on screen, but terrifying off-screen. Rumor has it he took a knife from the set and scared the cast so badly he was politely never invited back. Tierney lived to the age of 82, leaving behind a resume filled with grit, violence, and unforgettable roles. He wasn't just Hollywood's tough guy. He was the guy everyone hoped wouldn't actually get tough with them. Number 8. David Carradine, the martial arts icon whose off-screen drama was stranger than any kung fu plot. David Carradine may have been the serene, barefoot monk on Kung Fu, but off-screen, let's just say his life had more plot twists, hallucinations, and police reports than an entire season of prestige cable TV. In the 1,970 seconds, Carradine was already a rising star, beloved for his role as Kwai Chang Caine, a wandering warrior dispensing wisdom and roundhouse kicks in equal measure. But Hollywood quickly learned something important. David was nothing like the calm, enlightened character he played. If Caine was Zen, Carradine was chaos in sandals. In 1974, neighbors in Laurel Canyon looked out their windows and discovered Carradine roaming around completely naked. Police arrested him for attempted burglary and malicious mischief, which raises the question, how does a naked guy commit burglary? Very carefully, presumably. Then, in 1977, while filming Safari 3,000 Inches South Africa, he was arrested again. Carradine claimed the apartheid government framed him, which honestly sounds like the kind of twist only he could end up in. The sentence was suspended, but the headline lived forever. His legal run-ins didn't stop there. The 1,980 seconds brought multiple DUI arrests, proving that even kung fu masters can't dodge everything, especially traffic laws. Yet somehow, Carradine's career didn't suffer. If anything, his eccentricity made him more iconic. Directors loved his unpredictability, fans loved his intense presence, and Hollywood loved that he always delivered, no matter how wild his personal life got. Then came the 2000s, and his glorious resurgence thanks to Quentin Tarantino casting him as Bill in Bill. Suddenly, a whole new generation met the man, the myth, the beautifully unhinged legend. Number 9. Robert Mitchum, the bad boy legend who made jail look effortlessly cool. If Hollywood had a Mount Rushmore of effortlessly cool rebels, Robert Mitchum's face would be carved front and center, probably with a cigarette dangling from his mouth. Known for film noir classics like Out of the Past and The Night of the Hunter, Mitchum perfected the role of the world-weary tough guy. Turns out he didn't have to act much. His outlaw resume started early. During the Great Depression, a teenage Mitchum hitchhiked across America, picking up odd jobs and trouble in equal measure. In Savannah, Georgia, police didn't care for his drifter lifestyle and slapped him with a vagrancy charge, sending him to a chain gang. Most people would be traumatized. Mitchum escaped, dusted himself off, and kept moving like it was just another Wednesday. But his most legendary run-in came in 1948, when Los Angeles police crashed a party and arrested him This could have been career-ending for anyone else. It would have been. But Mitchum handled it with that trademark shrug, posing for jail photos like he was doing a magazine shoot. The court sentenced him to 60 days, split between LA County Jail and a prison farm in Castaic. Reporters expected tears, apologies, maybe a PR meltdown. Instead, Mitchum treated the whole thing like a field trip. He did his time, cracked a few jokes, and walked out with his bad boy image polished to perfection. And Hollywood, they didn't punish him. They doubled down. Instead of derailing his career, the scandal cemented his persona, the tough, cynical, dangerously charismatic outsider. Fans loved him even more. Number 10. Leo Gordon, the real-life tough guy who didn't need to pretend on camera. If Hollywood ever needed someone to play a towering, menacing, don't mess with me villain, they didn't have to look far. They just called Leo Gordon. At 6'2", with a stare sharp enough to cut steel, he looked like he was born to play bad guys. But here's the twist. Leo Gordon wasn't acting, not entirely. Before he became one of cinema's most reliable heavies, Gordon lived a life that would make most action stars ask for a stunt double. After serving 2 years in the U.S. Army during World War II, he found himself back in Southern California and back in trouble. One night, Gordon and a buddy attempted to rob a bar and its customers using a pistol. The problem? One officer wasn't in the mood to be robbed and shot Gordon right in the stomach. That is one way to end a crime spree. Convicted of armed robbery, Gordon was sent to San Quentin, where he served 5 years. Most inmates might spend their time playing cards or staring at the wall. Not Leo. He devoured nearly every book in the prison library, turning himself from a hardened criminal into a hardened intellectual. Hollywood eventually came knocking, and director Don Siegel cast him in Riot in Cell Block 11, a prison film that felt suspiciously like Gordon's natural habitat. During one scene, Siegel told him to fly backward when shot. Gordon replied, "Dead serious. Between the two of us, I'm the one who's actually been shot. You fall down." From there, Gordon became a Hollywood staple, playing villains, gunmen, gangsters, and every kind of tough guy under the sun. He even appeared on The Andy Griffith Show, poking fun at his own criminal past by playing what else? A reformed ex-con. Over 4 decades, he racked up over 70 film and TV credits, proving that sometimes the most unforgettable villains are forged not on a soundstage, but in a real-life prison yard. Leo Gordon didn't just play the heavy. Number 11. Nick Nolte, the Hollywood heartthrob with a felony footnote and one infamous mugshot. Nick Nolte may look like the guy who would give you life advice at a beach bar at 2 a.m. And honestly, he probably has. But behind the gravelly voice and golden acting resume lies a rap sheet Hollywood never stopped talking about. Long before he earned Oscar nominations, Golden Globes, and roles in heavy-hitting dramas, Nolte kicked off adulthood with a plot twist worthy of a legal thriller. In 1961, at just 20 years old, he was arrested for selling counterfeit draft cards. Yes, fake IDs for the military. The government did not find this charming. He was hit with a whopping 45-year prison sentence and a $75,000 fine. Before you gasp, here's the twist. The judge suspended the entire prison term. Nolte walked out free, but with a felony that made him ineligible for military service, something he later said he truly regretted during the Vietnam War era. Not exactly the patriotic coming-of-age story he might have imagined. Fast forward to September 11th, 2002, and Nolte found himself back in headlines, this time with one of the most legendary mugshots in celebrity history. Police pulled him over in Malibu for driving under the influence, and subsequent tests revealed he had GHB in his system, a substance better known for, well, not driving. Instead of spiraling, Nolte pulled a very Nick Nolte move. 3 days later, he checked himself into Silver Hill Hospital for counseling. By December, he pled no contest, received 3 years of probation, mandatory substance abuse treatment, and random testing. Basically Hollywood's version of summer camp, but with court supervision. Despite the chaos, Nolte never stopped acting, never stopped earning critical acclaim, and never stopped being uniquely Nick Nolte. His life became a strange blend of brilliance, bad decisions, and brutally honest self-reflection.